to the fullest and help me to become a genius in all my endeavor. So help me God. As easy as that. So let's just dive into this. Now we have so we are told to solve the following equations below. Now we have x minus 2 open and close brackets raised to the power 2 equals 0. So how do we go about this? It's very easy. Now this is one thing that you must understand first of all, that 2 raised to the power 2 is the same thing as 2 times 2. Now 3 raised to the power 2 is the same thing as 3 times 3. 3 times 3 can also be written as 3 open brackets 3, because brackets means multiplication. It doesn't matter how you want to go about it. So where am I driving at? When you see something like this, it means we are going to replace this 2 times. So starting with the first question, open bracket x minus 2 close bracket square equals 0. So how do you go about this? We are going to write this 2 times, but we shouldn't forget to make sure that they are both in brackets. So x minus 2 close bracket open bracket x minus 2 and close bracket now equals 0. What we have just done over here is we made sure that this appeared 2 times. And why is it so? It is happening that way because of our exponent. Our exponent is 2. So it means that whatever we are seeing in the bracket has to appear 2 times. If our exponent there is 3, it means that we are going to repeat exactly this 3 times. If our exponent is 5, it means we are going to repeat exactly this 5 times. So but in this case, we only have 2 to be our exponent, so we have to write this 2 times. Now, to move further, the next step we're supposed to take is we are going to use everything that is inside this bracket to multiply every other thing that is inside this other bracket. As easy as that. There is nothing difficult there. So our x now is going to multiply everything inside this bracket. So x open bracket x minus 2. Now this one to multiply everything here. Minus 2 open bracket x minus 2. You close it, then equals 0. Now at this point, do not forget that the x is multiplying everything inside the bracket. So x times x will give us x squared. B times b will give us b squared. 2 times 2 will give us 4. It is also 4 can also be written as 2 squared. And our square is the 2 on top. So x times negative 2 will give us negative 2x. Now minus 2 times x will give us 2x. Then negative 2 times negative 2 will give us positive 4. Now equals 0. Now it's very important that whenever you see a particular figure or maybe a particular value that has a negative sign, please do try your best to respect those negative signs. They're very important. Some of you who might be solving this could get to this point and say 2 times negative 2, and before you know it, they start writing negative 4. So what am I saying in short? This negative attached to the 2 is very valuable here. It's important. So instead of saying 2 times negative 2, you say negative 2 times 2, because the negative is exactly in front of these 2. So you don't say 2 times negative 2 because we are not going to throw our negative sign away. Now do not forget that negative times negative will always give us positive. So that's why I did negative 2 times negative 2, and I'm getting a positive 4. Now over to the next, we have these particular steps left to go. Now we have our x squared. We have to make sure that we put our x squared over there. Now minus 2x minus 2x. When we have any negative numbers coming together, what we have to do is we treat it the same way we treat positive numbers. Meaning if we have negative 3, negative 3, we should be getting negative 6. What did I do? I added these numbers, but the negative sign still remain there. Meaning if I have 7, negative 7 minus 9, all we have to do is add the 7 and 9, which should give us 16. So, but instead of just writing ordinary 16, we write minus 16. Now, Let's not just waste more time. We shouldn't forget that our negative sign added with our negative sign, we are still getting a negative sign. But 2x, no one forget that if you are asked 2 plus 2, the same way you say 4, when you are also asked negative 2, negative 2, you then say negative 4. Because the numbers have to add themselves, only that our result is going to be a negative 1. So now we are getting negative 4x. Then from there we have plus 4, then equals 0. Now, this is not the end of the road. We have our equal to sign. This is a quadratic equation. So the next step we have to take now is this. We have to make sure that we find the value of x. So how do we find the value of x? It's very easy. All I just need you to do now is concentrate so as not to miss out at all in this tutorial lesson. So what we're going to do now is we have to do this. Now look at what I'm going to show you over here. We have our x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0. So here's going to be our plus and here's going to be our multiplication sign. So since these are plus and multiplication sign, I know some of you will be like, what am I doing? You don't understand what I'm doing over there. This is just a kind of basics to make you grab easier how to solve quadratic equations. The way we know BODMAS to be this, saying that the multiplication sign came before addition sign. For quadratic equation, when you want to do this, it's just the vice versa. It's just the vice versa. I want you to have that in mind. That's the best way you can always use to remember this quadratic equation. Now, what am I saying in short? What I'm saying is this. You have to think of two possible numbers that when you multiply them, you'll get 4. If you add or subtract them, then you'll be getting negative 4. That's what I'm saying. Look for two numbers. When you multiply them, you will get 4. When you add or subtract them, you will get negative 4. So that was why I did this, plus and multiplication. Once you know your BODMAS rule, you know multiplication sign came before addition, and then you see your quadratic equation. In order not to think too much, start asking yourself which particular one is supposed to be multiplied, which particular one is meant to be added. That is the reason why I actually did this. Once you can remember your BODMAS and you know multiplication came before addition, then you would surely remember that you are supposed to do the vice versa. Instead of multiplication coming first before addition, then addition will come before multiplication. This is the way you always used to easily remember the quadratic equation, how it usually goes. So now I'm sure as you are watching these tutorials, you have already figured out the two numbers that when we multiply them, we should be getting 4, and when we add or subtract them, we should be getting negative 4. And those two numbers are negative 2. When we do negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, we'll be getting positive 4. And when we do negative 2 minus negative 2, we'll be getting negative 4. So that is just it, and that's what we're going to be using here. So to move further to what we're doing on this side, what we're going to do now is this. The x squared will still repeat itself, and the 4 will still repeat itself. But this negative 4x is the one that's going to split up. So we have our x squared now minus 2x. We close the brackets. Now we have to put a plus sign over here. Open this bracket and then write minus 2x. Then plus 4, close the bracket, equals 0. Now at this point, if you notice very well, the x squared that I spoke about is still here, and the 4 I spoke about too is also here. The only thing that is different now is that the values that we can see over here has been splitted and made 4. Unlike this place, it is 3, but over here now there are up to 4 of them. So why is it up to 4? We looked for 2 digits that when we multiply, we'll be getting this 4, and when we add or subtract, we'll be getting -4. And those 2 digits are -2 and -2. But we did not omit our x. Our x is also very important. Whenever we finish finding our numbers, please endeavor to attach your variable to those very numbers that you have found. Now, for some of you who don't know what variables are alphabets. The way you know A, B, C, D, E, F till Z is the same way variables are. They're just alphabets in English. In mathematics, they are known as variables. So now let's move further. At this point, the next step we're going to take is we are going to factorize this and this. Now, factorizing there means picking out the common value. Picking out the common value. Now let's move further. We have our work over here. We're supposed to factorize the first one and then the second one. So how do we factorize this? We'll pick what is common. In x squared and -2x, what do you think is common between these two? I'm sure as you're watching this right now, you can see that x appeared here and x also appeared here. In short, what does that mean? It means that x is what is common here. So I'll not go too deep in factorizing over here because of the video that I already made on factorization, well broken down. Trust me, when you go through that video, you will understand everything you need to know about factorization. So over here, we shouldn't forget that since we're putting our x here, our x also stays on this other side, then -2. So the things that we put inside now are the values that when we use the x, which is what is common, to multiply everything inside this bracket, we should be getting this back. So now let's check whether what we have done is correct. X times x is giving us x squared, and x times -2 is giving us -2x. So we are good. Let's move ahead. So in order not to stress yourself, you can repeat exactly this that we've done. X minus 2. Then now you have to think of a possible number that when we place over here, we should be getting exactly this. And that number is going to be -2. -2 times x will give us -2x, and -2 times -4 will give us +4. Now equals 0. This is not the end of the road. Next step we're going to take is we have to write x minus 2. X minus 2 then equals 0. Getting x minus 2 equals 0. Next step will be our x equals 2. So that is just it for now. For some of you who might be asking me how I got my x equals 2, it's very easy. All I did was the -2 crossed the equal to sign to stay on the other side. Whenever we have two values that are not the same, we should make sure that we separate them in one way or the other as far as there is an equal to sign there. So I separated the 2 from the x so as to make sure that the x stays alone and the 2 stays alone. And doing that, since the 2 cross the equal to sign, it can no longer remain negative because it has crossed the equal to sign. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. We have x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0.
Subscribe, comment, share.